What's up, everybody? Tricks Ridiculous back with another video, and I wanted to talk about the Cloning Labs update and specifically the power level requirement of 175 and the rise of the total power level cap. Before we do, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and join the Discord. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. So there's a lot of mixed emotions around the community because we have received confirmation that Cloning Labs will be a 4-player mandatory activity. All players must be 175 and no lower. Now, at the time of this recording, 175 is the highest you can be in the game and requires you to get to the soft cap of 150, complete the Omega level threat Super Adaptoid and the normal mode Claw Raid 5 times each, both of which are weekly locked, just to get to 160. Then you have to do the Elite Claw Raid. It's the only thing you can do. You have to do that 10 times, which can only be done once a week, just to get to 175. All of which, I'm telling you here, is just for one character. So this whole thing must be repeated 11 times. Additionally, there are some bi-weekly events that do allow you to get 2 levels across your whole roster every 2 weeks. So that cuts down the total weeks by a little bit, but it's also a pretty heavy slog of just beating enemies with your heroic abilities. It's kind of more of a single player route than anything, but it does cut down on the total weeks by a bit. Either way, this is a lot of grinding to get even one character up to 175. I can tell you, I don't have all of my characters at 175, not even close. Yes, if you have been playing fairly regularly, you'll be there or pretty close, but keep in mind, the raid and its power level increase to 175 came out in November of last year, so there has been time to grind for it. We've been able to do it, right? Now, why am I saying all this? Well, people in the community are concerned that if they aren't 175 yet, they aren't going to be able to play Cloning Labs. Or at least if they're only 175 on one, maybe 2 of their favorite characters, they'll only be able to play on those 2, and that's it. They're not wrong, but here's the thing. We know that 175 is going to be broken, right? We know there's going to be a new cap. We don't know what that new cap is. If you ask me to guess, I would say 200, just because, you know, it's aesthetically pleasing, and the last increase was 25 points. If you remember, it went from 150 to 175 as the cap increase. So another 25 would make sense, and it would just look better than trying to go like 180, 190, right? But that is pure speculation. The thing I wanted to tell you is not to fear, because when the cap raises, they will be introducing new ways to get to 175 without doing the raid or events. Now, I don't say this with any type of insider information, but this is a mandatory thing, and this is a staple in any game that periodically raises the power cap. When you raise the power cap, you have to introduce new ways, easier ways to get to the soft cap, or to raise the soft cap so that people can focus on the newer content. It won't work, and it especially will not work for new players if they're just going to keep trying to funnel us through the same content and keep it a narrow path to that 175 benchmark, okay? Now, this brings me kind of to the ultimate reason why it won't work, and that's Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. We know that Bucky is dropping at the time of the Cloning Labs. It's all going to be in one update. But of course, everyone's Bucky is going to start at level 1, right? So how does that work? Well, based on what I said before, if everything just stayed the same, you're looking at about 12 to 15 weeks roughly of grinding through OLTs, normal raids, elite raids, and completing events to get your Bucky up to 175. This doesn't work. There needs to be a way to use the new character in the new content relatively shortly after release. I'm not saying you're going to be able to do it day 1 with Bucky. Maybe you will. But there has to be, it can't be 10 to 15 weeks later. If the first Cloning Labs if the first possible cloning labs clear with Bucky is 10 to 15 weeks, or 10 weeks, I'll say, after his release and after Cloning Labs release, that makes no sense, okay? So the point of the video, right, it would be a colossal mistake, a mistake of catastrophic proportions, to leave the current leveling system as is to get to 175 once the cap is raised and once there is a new piece of content that requires you to be at 175. There's going to have to be a change. Now, I know you're going to be saying to yourself, oh, catastrophic failure? That's par for the course for Crystal Dynamics, and I'm not going to disagree with you there, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here. The last power level increase went off pretty well. I don't think there was anyone had any issues with the power level increase. This is the first time they're doing it in a way that is kind of going to change the soft cap. So we'll see if they screw it up. I'm hoping that they don't, right? But we'll see. So long story short, don't worry. They should definitely introduce a new method to catch up. Don't worry if you don't have every single character at 175, right? If they don't do it, God help us all. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and join the Discord. Those links in the description. That is it for me, and I will see you in the next one.